Hi folks, in this video we will throw some light on some of the greatest F1 drivers who dominated the podium from each decade with ultimate courage and finesse. Without further ado, let us begin, and do not forget to like and subscribe to this channel. In the 1950s, Juan Manuel Fangio, nicknamed El Chueco or El Maestro, Fangio dominated the first decade of Formula One racing, winning the World Drivers' Championship 5 times. From childhood, he abandoned his studies to pursue auto mechanics. In 1938, he debuted in the newly formed Argentine stock car racing series Turismo Carretera, competing in a Ford V8. In 1940, he competed with Chevrolet, winning the Grand Prix International Championship, and devoted his time to the Turismo Carretera, becoming its champion, a title he successfully defended a year later. Then the Argentine went on to win the World Drivers' Championship 5 times, a record that stood for 46 years, making him the only driver in F1 history to win titles with 4 different teams: Alfa Romeo, Maserati, Mercedes-Benz, and Ferrari. 1960s, Jim Clark. James Clark was renowned for his smooth, calculated style and wet-weather prowess, which would help him secure 2 championships, and remains one of the most naturally gifted drivers of his era. Apart from F1, he competed in sports cars, touring cars, and in the Indianapolis 500, which he won in 1965. He was particularly associated with Team Lotus, driving for the team his entire Formula One career between 1960 and 1968. Clark was killed in a Formula 2 racing accident in April 1968 in Hockenheimring, West Germany. At the time of his death, aged 32, he had won more Grand Prix races and achieved more pole positions than any other driver. Although his championship tally is lower than some later greats, his win rate and dominance during his era solidify his place in F1 history. Jim Clark's legacy lives on as an inspiration for aspiring racers, a symbol of exceptional talent combined with a calm and calculated approach. 1970s, Niki Lauda. A champion of both strategy and resilience, and also a successful aviation entrepreneur, Andreas Nikolaus Lauda overcame a horrific accident to win 3 championships while racing at the Nürburgring. During the crash, his Ferrari 312 T2 burst into flames, nearly killing him after he inhaled hot toxic fumes and suffered severe burns. He recovered sufficiently to race again just 6 weeks later at the Italian Grand Prix, showcasing his mental fortitude alongside exceptional skill, and is the only driver in Formula One history to have won a championship for both Ferrari and McLaren, the sport's 2 most successful constructors. Lauda was an aviation entrepreneur who founded and ran 3 airlines: Lauda Air, Niki, and Lauda. Afterwards, Lauda worked as a pundit for German TV during Grand Prix weekends and served as non-executive chairman of Mercedes-AMG Petronas Motorsport, of which he owned 10%. 1980s, Ayrton Senna. Arguably the greatest Brazilian F1 driver of all time, Senna began his motorsport career in karting, moved up to open-wheel racing in 1981, and won the 1983 British Formula 3 Championship. He made his Formula One debut with Toleman Motorsport in 1984, before moving to Team Lotus for the 1985 season and winning 6 Grands Prix over the next 3 seasons. In 1988, he joined Frenchman Alain Prost at McLaren. Between them, they won all but one of the 16 Grands Prix that year, and Senna claimed his first world championship. Prost claimed the championship in 1989, and Senna his second and third championships in the 1990 and 1991 seasons. Senna's career was tragically cut short in 1994 when he died in a crash during the San Marino Grand Prix. He was known for his incredible speed, wet-weather prowess, and his fierce determination. He was also a controversial figure, known for his sometimes risky driving style and his intense rivalry with Alain Prost. 1990s, Michael Schumacher. Nicknamed the Kaiser, Schumacher cemented his status as a legend in this era, winning a record-breaking 5 consecutive championships with Ferrari, where he won a staggering 91 Grand Prix victories, which he achieved this feat across 2 teams, Benetton and Ferrari. Also, he holds the record for most podium finishes, 155, and fastest laps, 77, showcasing his consistent speed and race strategy. He and his younger brother Ralph are the only siblings to win races in Formula One and the first siblings to finish first and second in the same race, a feat they repeated in 4 subsequent races. Schumacher was twice involved in collisions in the final race of a season that decided the title. First with Damon Hill at the 1994 Australian Grand Prix, and later with Jacques Villeneuve at the 1997 European Grand Prix.
2000S, Fernando Alonso.
Nicknamed El Nano in his early career, Alonso has carved his name into Formula One history by conquering the Formula One World Drivers' Championship in consecutive years with Renault, becoming the youngest ever champion at the age of 24, total of 32 Grand Prix victories, showcasing his ability to win in different conditions and with various teams such as Renault, McLaren, Ferrari. During his F1 career, he battled against legendary drivers like Michael Schumacher, Kimi Räikkönen, Lewis Hamilton, and Jenson Button throughout his career. But he took a hiatus from F1 to compete in other endurance racing series, winning the 24 Hours of Le Mans twice and the FIA World Endurance Championship with Toyota. He is currently racing for Aston Martin, showcasing his continued passion for the sport. 2010s and 2020s, Lewis Hamilton. Finally, this was the obvious pick as Sir Lewis Hamilton cemented his legacy and knighthood by currently being the record holder for most championships, race wins, podium, as well as most career points, showing his dominance throughout the decade is undeniable. Still active till date, his third and fourth consecutive titles followed in 2019 and 2020 was enough to equal Schumacher's record of 7 drivers' titles. Outside the sport, Hamilton has been credited with his fans' following by appealing to a broader audience due to his high-profile lifestyle, environmental and social activism, and exploits in music and fashion. Hamilton was listed in the 2020 issue of Time as one of the 100 most influential people globally.